Hi, my name is Mark McCoy. I'm the Vice President of the United Trainers Association, and I am a certification instructor for personal trainers. I've been a personal trainer for 20 years, ex-ice hockey player, an athlete, and I can tell you that in the health and fitness industry, there's a lot of misconceptions about what you're supposed to do. So I teach this seminar on the practical application of health and fitness to help people get an understanding of what you can do to take back control of your life and health, energy, fat loss, and performance muscularly or athletic performance for you. A lot of what we look at in the health industry is age management. You have to realize that in the timeline of age, you really want to create an 18-year-old's efficiency. You want to be as energetic as possible. You want to have a great immune system. You want to have low body fat. You want to have good muscle tone. So whenever you ask your body to do something, it'll do it when you ask it to. So look at things based on a timeline. What does an 18-year-old have in certain things that your body may be losing as far as energy? And you say this 18-year-old as opposed to where you may be on this timeline of age to 98 years old. If chronologically you're a certain amount of years old, but biologically your body thinks you are aging at an accelerated rate or you're older than you are, you've accelerated the aging process. And age management is technically the preservation of optimal human function. To preserve it, we have to keep telling our body that we're 18. Now, when you're 18 years old, you have certain things that are operating very efficiently. One of them is oxygen loading and energy. Second one is going to be hydration levels, and your body is very good at detoxifying and maintaining energy from those levels. So oxygen and water are two things we're going to be talking about because they are the first two things we look at as trainers in the health and fitness industry. Now take a look at the phrase health and fitness, the industry that we're in. Health and fitness is three words. This health and fitness industry, you have to realize that the most important word here is and. Health is separate from fitness. First get healthy, then add exercise. When you look at this, there are 5 levels in the health and fitness industry. Most people don't even know there's 5. But 2 of them are in the health side. Steps 3, 4, and 5 are in the fitness side. Now, the 2 steps in health are, first, balance. Second is your nutrition. The third step is activity. Now for health and wellness, we know there are 3 elements. Balance your body first, feed it second, then move it third. An advanced level of movement is a training program. This is where you can accelerate the speed of change and work toward a desired outcome. If you take this training protocol and you apply this to a sport, you have now become an athlete. That's level 5. Depending on your goals and what you want to achieve in life will determine how far you want to take these levels of fitness. But no one should stop doing the things that create their health. So you always have to make sure that you're following step 1 before you jump into a step 4. I know a lot of people that join gyms, they go through training programs, but they underfeed their body and never balance it. This is not sustainable. So what we want to do is teach you these 5 elements and let you see the changes as they should occur. First off, in balance, we know that there are 4 things you must have in your body in an order of importance. The first 3 are in the balance step. The 4th one is your nutrition. So out of these 4 steps, the first 3 are in balance. The 4th one is nutrition. I don't care how good you feed your body. If it's completely imbalanced, it can't work with that food. But if you're completely balanced and don't eat or don't eat right, there's nothing to work with. These 2 elements must be fit together to create health. And I can show you healthy individuals out there who have tremendous quality of life, good body composition, and they have energy and chase their kids around and do things. But if you ask them to go out and run a 5K, they wouldn't be able to do it. Half a mile down the road, they stop and have to breathe. But I can show you fitness people that are running long distance marathons and doing things at a high level that do not do these 2 steps correctly and have issues. We know the guy that won the Boston Marathon 3 years in a row actually died of a heart attack at 39. 2 people in 2012 actually died in the Philadelphia Marathon. There are certain people doing fitness things that have not balanced out their health yet and it can cause problems. So going through these first steps, we want to look at a few different things. First thing, let's go from the nutrition backwards. This will help get an understanding of why we have to work our way through these elements in order. Number 4 in the order of importance is the macronutrients that you eat. These macronutrients are made up of your proteins, your carbs, and your fats. Now, eating a proper balance of these elements will help you to feed your body properly, but it must be based on the amount of nutrition you need at your optimal level. Now, the optimal numbers for nutrition is something that is very misunderstood. A lot of people don't realize where the numbers came from within our culture, our industry of the food industry. You will see a label on every single product in America. This is actually designed by the FDA. It's a Food and Drug Administration label. And it will tell you at the bottom how many calories a day that's based on. It says on every package, 2,000 calories a day. Daily value is not established. What it does not tell you is who that is. Technically, that's based on a 120-pound sedentary female for true health. What it's not telling you, though, is what the RDA numbers are based on. Now, when you go through and look at the RDA, you'll realize that the recommended daily allowance was based on this 120-pound female post-World War II. The RDA numbers were established by 3 doctors in 1941 and revised up through the 1950s, based on post-World War II food rationing. It is not the optimal amount of nutrition given on those numbers. It's actually the minimum amount. It's food rationing. So when you look to see where your numbers are supposed to be, this is not the place to go to for your numbers or your advice. What you need to look for is optimal nutritional formulas for sports and athletic and health. So within the site, we have a nutrition formula to have a healthy amount of food. You'll also have one for an athlete, somebody who's looking for performance. Now, there's an increase in the amount of proteins a person needs when they get to athletic performance for repair and remodeling of tissue after training. This is where the benefits of training come from. It's the recovery phases. So let's look at these steps. Proteins, carbs, and fats are actually going to be done based on portion controls. The formula would tell you the numbers if you want to go through and lay out all the actual numbers of how many grams of protein, carbs, and fats per day, per meal, and then figure out how many calories that is. But I'll tell you an easy way to measure that out and know what a portion size is. It's your hand, not a palm size, your whole hand. If it's laying your hand flat like a chicken breast or fish fillet, it should be as thick and as big as your hand or more. If it is in a fist size, like you're making a filet mignon, make sure that it is as thick and as big. It's the volume of your hand. I weigh a little over 200 pounds. I need at least 8 ounces of protein intake per, if it's an average 7 grams of protein per ounce, and I need 1 gram of protein for every pound of body weight for health. I'm sitting at about 200 grams of protein a day. For athletes, it's 1.5 times your goal body weight. So I need 8 ounces 6 times a day, giving me 300. You'll see that in the formula. So when I'm looking at that 1 fist protein and 2 fist carbs, so if I have a fish fillet, steamed broccoli or vegetables, and a salad, I know I have 2 parts carbs, 1 part protein. And then healthy fats. Healthy fats are those that are liquid at room temperature. Now I know you can make eggs in the morning and throw butter into a pan, it melts into an oil. But you are not 300 degrees. When that oil melts or gets back down to your body temperature, it turns back into a solid in your liver and your bloodstream. These are the unhealthy fats. So look at it at room temperature. If it's solid at room temperature, try to stay away from it. If it's liquid at room temperature, you're going to be doing a lot better. Now, more important than all the proteins, carbs, and fats you eat are the micronutrients your body takes in. Micronutrients are made up of enzymes, which, yes, I know they're a protein, but we're looking at it in micronutrient form, vitamins, and minerals. Enzymes are what are needed in your digestive system first to help digest and absorb all the foods you eat. Without a good digestive enzyme balance and a healthy digestive system, you're not going to absorb and utilize all the things that you're eating anyway. Vitamins and minerals get in and help your cells become healthy. You have between 70 and 100 trillion cells in your body constantly in replication. We want to make sure that they are well fed and properly delivering nutrients and excreting toxins to keep your body in a state of balance. Now, the medical terminology for a state of balance is homeostasis. We're trying to create this balance of homeostasis by making sure that the first three elements are correct so that the food we eat works so well in our body, we get nothing but benefits. So more important than all the vitamins, minerals, enzymes, and food you eat is the amount of water you drink. The question then remains is how much water is enough? We know the benefits are going to be I can get rid of toxins faster, and I hydrate my cells, they separate, which allows nutrients in easier and toxins out easier. This is going to make me more efficient. But how much is correct for me? Now the committee of they say that you should have 8 8-ounce glasses a day. But in the sports world, we have a formula for this. It's half your body weight in ounces per day. That is a minimum. We always add for 2 elements. 1, the climate you live in. If you live down in Florida, I guarantee you the humidity and the heat, it's going to require you to have more water. So at 200 pounds, half my body weight would be 100 ounces. Now I know I would add another 20% of that, another 20 ounces, to compensate for the heat in Florida. Now if I'm an athlete, if I'm exercising, I know during activity I need to add another 20%. So now I'm at 140. So half your body weight plus climate and activity. These are the 3 areas you need to compensate for. So where did they come up with this 8 8-ounce glasses? Well, if you actually look at that FDA label being based on a 120-pound female, you look at half the body weight of 120, it's 60. And 8 times 8 being 64, you realize that is based on her. So if you're not her, realize you got to do the math, it's half your body weight. You always hydrate the body you have and feed the body you want. When you feed the body you want, make sure that it's the end goal. Your goal body weight must be the final one, the leanest athletic version of you, not your first goal. If I'm 50 pounds overweight and I want to start off by losing 10 pounds, I don't just do the math on 10 pounds, I do it on the final body weight. So if I was 250 and wanted to weigh 200, I would go ahead and put the 200 in as my goal weight in the formula. So what's more important than all the water you drink, the micronutrients you take in, and the foods you eat? That answer is oxygen. And this is pretty easy to test. Just go ahead and hold your breath until you're thirsty. And you'll see which one's more important. But you know that the human body can live 3-4 weeks without food. It can live 3-4 days before dehydration sets in. But you can only live in the max 3 minutes without breathing. Even the greatest free divers and athletes in the world can hold their breath only up to about 3 or 4 minutes. That is the most anyone can go without oxygen. So oxygen, water, micro, macro. This is the order. Now, we talk about balance and digestion and these enzymes being so important to getting all this in. But we need to know which vitamin carries oxygen. This is key. So when you look at the B vitamins within someone's nutrient program, you'll see why B vitamins are so important. Number 1, they help the neurological function and brain chemistry, but they help carry oxygen in your blood. Now I'm sure you've probably heard of someone going to a doctor, getting a B shot and having energy. This is because they're oxygenating their blood. This is a very key sign to helping you bring up your energy levels and help your body be more efficient at many different things. One is neurological, but think about burning fat, thermogenesis, burning of fat. Thermo, meaning fire, cannot happen without oxygen present. So if you look at burning of anything, it must have oxygen present. So if you want to increase your efficiencies, first start with the oxygen loads in your body. Second, start with your hydration levels, half your body weight. Then make sure your digestive system is working well. Now, we want to make sure that that is the first thing we start out to help balance. And you can't just dive into adding things to your system. We have a problem with what's going on in the food sources here in America. They tend to have a lot of synthetic sweeteners in a lot of foods we eat. They tend to have a lot of preservatives, and preservatives don't stop preserving just because you eat them. They tend to build up in the intestine, on the intestinal wall, and it creates a lime green gel, and it actually seals up your intestines. Synthetic sweeteners, like what's found in diet sodas, actually takes up to 15 weeks to digest through the human body. And if there's 3 packets of sweeteners in a 12-ounce can of soda, do the math. 3 packets times 15 weeks, if you only had 1 a day, the average American's holding on to over 3 pounds of crystals in their intestinal tract if that's a normal beverage. These are problems for efficiency and digestion. But it's not just what's building up in our system, it's what's breaking it down. If you've ever taken antibiotics, which are called broad-spectrum antibiotics, That means they're non-selective. They tend to kill off bacteria, and that's how it helps you get over a bacterial infection or disease. But it's non-selective, which means it's also going to kill off good bacteria. Your digestive enzymes are a good cultural bacteria. And if it's going to kill off a bunch of them, both good and bad, they go too. So what we're looking at is how do we rebuild the system of good bacteria, and how do we get the bad stuff out so we can get our efficiency back into our digestive system to make sure all this new nutrition plan is working properly and being delivered. But let's look at the efficiencies and see where they actually are. Let's take the 18-year-old. And let's use the numbers based on the FDA, eating 2,000 calories a day. We know that we need to find out how much the absorption rates are in our body. At 18, the absorption rate is 90% efficient. This is average based on bioavailability testing. And through all the different research studies that were averaged out, this is where it came up to on absorption of nutrients. Now, why is that important? Why is a 90% efficiency in absorption important to us? Because there are 5 metabolic signals that we need to control, that we have some influence over. There is an order to them. These 5 metabolic signals starts with the total calories absorbed. The total amount of calories your body absorbs helps to give a signal to your metabolism to say, handle this many. So if our body has 2,000 calories coming in, but it's 90% efficient, the metabolic signal is 1,800. This 1,800 signal is a set point. It kind of tells your body to adjust for that. So it's not just what you eat, it's what you absorb. Now, is it easier to absorb more calories in one meal or multiple meals throughout the day? The answer is yes, multiple. So there is something called the 3-hour rule when it comes to eating. It allows you to absorb more calories by eating something within an hour of waking up and within an hour of going to bed. And you want to do that about every 3 hours. So if you think about your timeline throughout the day, within an hour of waking up, you've got your breakfast meal, but then you'll also have a lunch and a dinner. But if you had a mid-morning, a mid-afternoon, and an hour before bed, you'd actually open up that 3-hour timeline to give your body the greatest chance of absorbing nutrients to help feed your metabolic signals. Now, in athletic performance, if you're eating things like the proteins, the vegetables, the brown rice, oatmeal, sweet potatoes, things that are healthy for you to feed muscle, help recovery from training, this absorption is crucial to any athlete out there because the repair mechanisms can only work with what gets in. Not what you eat, but what you eat and absorb. So both in fat loss, metabolic signals, and athletic recovery, this is crucial. So we always start with prepping the body. These things are easily attained in prepping the body by fixing it. Now, at Tomorrow's Champion, we got to let you guys know that supplements do have a role in sports performance, true health, and balance. The Advocare product line is the one that we have chosen to exclusively endorse. Now, we choose them because they are absolutely working off the protocols that we believe in. Number 1, pharmaceutical grade products. Number 2, everything is tested by the Informed Choice program in Oxford, England. So they actually test for the World Anti-Doping Agencies for over 180 banned substances and product label accuracies. We want to make sure that everything we take is safe and effective, and these absolutely have passed with flying colors. So we don't take chances in the supplements we use. In that product line, they have something called the Probiotic Herbal Cleanse. This herbal cleanse actually does help to remove the buildup of the preservatives and synthetic sweeteners, but rebuild the good and probiotic balance for your digestive enzymes. This is a non-laxative cleanse. That means it's uneventful. It's going to help you to become more regular, and that's why it's over 10 days. It allows you to rebalance that system out. We kind of call this doing digestive surgery. Kind of gets it to rebuild itself a little bit. But then we have to go through digestive rehab. So we're going to show you that there is something called MNS. Now this stands for Metabolic Nutrition System. And this is actually a rebuilding process for the digestive system and includes the micronutrients our body is looking for. So this will have multivitamins, minerals, it'll have probiotics in a maintenance dose, it'll have omega-3s, it'll have thermogenic effect and help, and calcium. It also has something called Amplify AT, which helps to enhance things for hair, skin, and nail. So as we drop body fat and increase muscle tone, our skin looks tighter and stronger and it comes back into health. All these things are there to help support your body. So these are very beneficial in getting this process done. Now, if you compare this to somebody at the age of 39, this is the average in the tests we looked at. A 39-year-old eating the exact same 2,000 calories a day is no longer 90% efficient. The question is, where are they? Now, there are studies out there that will show that people in athletic worlds say things like you can only absorb 30 grams of protein an hour. Well, we've never been able to find that study on just protein uptake. And even if they did, we haven't found out who was it done on, a pro NFL player or a 71-year-old grandmother. We have never seen who the studies were done on or what those numbers actually came out to. But in the bioavailability studies that test what the absorption rates are of average people in certain elements, we have found that by age 39, the average American is only 22.4% efficient in this absorption. Now ask yourself, does that body think it's well-fed or starving if only 448 calories a day is being read by the metabolism? That's a problem. Not only are you not getting metabolic signals to keep body fat off you, but you're also not getting the nutrients in to recover from anything or feed your body's healthy structure. So what happens is your body will compensate by lowering its metabolism. There's not much you can do about this because this is in your DNA. It's a survival mechanism that allows you to stay alive. Your body must run something called your autonomic nervous system. This is the amount of nutrition you need at rest to sustain life. Those life-sustaining things are things like your heartbeat, breathing, peristalsis, endocrine secretion, blink your eyes. These are all things that happen with or without you thinking about it. But this metabolic drop happens because it thinks it's not getting enough nutrition to run that autonomic nervous system. This baseline of nutrition is also known as the BMR, your basal metabolic rate. And that means the minimum amount to sustain life. But what if we are also having a stressful life? Maybe we have a job, maybe we have kids, we have things that are causing us to increase our stress levels. Maybe we exercise, increase physical stress levels. All of these things are actually requiring us to have a higher intake of caloric intake and more nutrients to feed the body. So this metabolism has to adjust. So it's going to slow down to absorb more nutrition to keep you alive. So if the metabolism is dropping, how does our body store energy to run that autonomic nervous system? We store it as body fat because the signals are saying do that. So when the body fat goes up, do we like excess body fat? No. So technically, a lot of people go out and they do what's called a diet. But do diets increase calories or decrease calories? They decrease. So why do they decrease it? What's the understanding behind that? Well, we've been told out there in the general population in weight management programs rather than fat loss programs that if you burn more calories than you take in, you'll lose weight. This is actually a true statement. But nobody technically wants to lose weight. They want to lose fat because they always follow it up with, I'd like more muscle tone, or I'd like better energy or immune function. They don't want to lose the healthy tissue. They don't want to lose their energy. And you can understand this. If you've ever been on a diet that is low in calories or low in these carbohydrates, you can't even think straight. You'd be driving home and forget that you even had the drive home. Or you drive through a stoplight and say, was that green or red? I'm not even paying attention above baseline thought process because you're so underfed. This is not sustainable. So let's say you're now taking in 1,200 calories on a diet plan. This diet plan has now not gone through and fixed anything in absorption, so the new caloric signal is 265. Now you will see some weight loss here because your current metabolic signal is here and your current food intake is here. But what does your body do to adjust for this? It will now lower the metabolism thinking you are starving further. When you lower your metabolism, eventually it will meet this. And you're going to hit that's right, a plateau. You know, it's funny that I say that, yes, you're right, because you guys know this to be true. You have heard these statements before, things like, I just couldn't lose that last 10 pounds. Because the adjustment happened, you've hit the plateau, and your body is now adjusted to the new caloric intake. But what happens when you hit a plateau? You no longer see body fat loss. You're no longer seeing the change you wanted to, but you're irritable and you're starving and you're on this diet plan. You get rid of it because it's not working anymore. So here comes back the body fat and the water you may have lost, but you don't get back the muscle you may have lost from being further malnourished. Now that's a problem because the third metabolic signal your body is looking for is how many pounds of muscle you have on your body. Now a pound of fat is just stored energy. It doesn't require a lot of energy to sustain a pound of fat on the body. It only takes about 3 calories a day per pound. But muscle requires on average around 50 calories a day to sustain it. So let's say you lost 5 pounds of muscle on a diet plan during this weight loss program, and you've ended up dropping 50 calories per pound at 5 pounds. You could have lowered your basal metabolic rate by 250 calories a day, as opposed to building 5 more pounds of muscle tone and creating an increase of 250 calories a day in your base metabolic rate. Now, what does that mean to you? It means that you can burn 250 calories a day more by sitting in a chair because you have more muscle on your body. This is a huge benefit. The fourth thing that increases metabolism is the activity you do. This actually has a great effect on metabolism because you're increasing core body temperature and flushing things through your body, nutrients in and toxins out, and creates a thermogenic effect. We're looking through these levels, these 4. And if these 4 are done correctly, the 5th one, your hormones, will begin to elevate. If they're done incorrectly, it can actually drop your hormone levels. Things like growth hormone, testosterone, insulin growth factor 1, possibly TSH levels. Those 4 things are all developed during REM sleep the most, about 80% of production from the pituitary gland. But then they only happen if there's a good nutritional signal. How many people are on nutrition plans that have told them don't eat after 7 o'clock at night, but they don't go to bed until after 10 or 11? So they've not had anything in their system for 3 hours. They go to sleep at night, and by the time they're into REM sleep, there's no real high levels of nutrition, and the hormones begin to drop. So this can have its effect on its own. But then in the morning, they're a person who skips breakfast. 66% of Americans technically skip breakfast. This is a technique sumo wrestlers use to help gain weight because the 3-hour rule affects a hormone in your body that is something different. Your body, when it doesn't have anything in the stomach, says it must create hunger pains to help you create more nutrition intake by giving you hunger pains. It's a hormone called ghrelin. Ghrelin makes you produce more cortisol and insulin, which are fat storage hormones. Now, sumo wrestlers do this on purpose. They skip breakfast to help them create more ghrelin to produce more cortisol to help gain weight around the middle. Great if you're a sumo wrestler. Not great if you're trying to stay lean and toned. As opposed to the other hormone, leptin, which is created when your body has food in the system that gives you a feeling of satisfaction and shuts off those fat storage hormones, cortisol and insulin. So by keeping glycemic index levels down in your carbohydrate intake, but maintaining good caloric levels, you keep feeding the lean body mass, not the fat mass, and tell all 5 signals to go up. This is a benefit. So these 5 metabolic signals, followed by following the process of what's happening in your system, you'll realize that when you get back to this excess body fat, you're going to go back onto another diet. Now, this next diet plan is possibly labeled something else. What you say to yourself is, gosh, I just wasn't quite disciplined on that last one, but I'm going to try another one. But both were calorie restrictive diet plans, and neither one did a fix to the body's efficiency. This is why that cleanse phase is so important. Once you've gone through the cleanse, go through the rebuild and allow your body to start to transition this. Fix this. Now, how beneficial would that change be? Let's say you're going from 22.4% efficiency back to 90. That is 4 times more efficient than you were before. Now, if you put that into terms of what that means to you physically, if you were to go to a gym and go for a walk on a treadmill, do you want to do that for 15 minutes or an hour? You're going to get the same result. It depends on which one you did first. Did you cleanse your body and rebuild the system and tell those 5 signals to go up? Or did you try to just work harder? We're all busy. We have busy lifestyles and we need to fit this into our schedule. So we have to be realistic about the efficiencies. And this is something that is sustainable with the right maintenance. So follow the process. The Advocare supplement line is actually bundled certain products that we use here, the Cleanse, the Spark, the MNS, and meal replacement shakes and extra omega-3s that our body can always use more of. So you can take 2 extra with dinner and the 2 in the maintenance dose programs in the packet system of the MNS and allow your body to get together. This is called the 24-day challenge. You'll see this on the Advocare website in the trim line. You can get to the Advocare website by going through the links provided on the site. Just type the ID number you were given into the access bar, and it will take you to the site that allows you to go for ordering. Now that system is very efficient. The question is, how soon do you want to get started on something like this? If you knew that all you had to do was first oxygenate and hydrate your body, if that's the first habit you needed to start with, then start with that. Then get the MNS going into your system. After the 10-day cleanse, you start the MNS. Spark, added into water, actually loads pharmaceutical-grade B vitamins. This is the Spark energy drink from Advocare. It is one of the highest pharmaceutical-grade B vitamin energy drinks in the country. Now, they actually list on here a graph that will show you the RDA levels that are recommended and then the levels of B6 and B12 that your body needs. Now, optimal is 30 to 100 milligrams of B vitamin 6 per day. But the RDA actually says 1.3 milligrams because it's based off a 120-pound female for food rationing. So when you see 750 times the RDA in a dose, and you're actually doing 2 to 3 of these a day is what they recommend, it's because 30 to 100 is recommended and 1 dose is 15. So that makes perfect sense. This also helps your body produce neurotransmitter functioners. Neurotransmitter functioners in the brain increase mental acuity. This has actually been tested by Texas Tech Health Science Centers on 72 kids, even with double-blind studies and placebos. And they have found that in the 4 different areas of measurement, this actually was superior to ADHD medications. One of the things we recommend over anything else in the company is the Spark energy drink mixed with the proper amounts of water per day to increase the efficiency of the body's energy, mental capacities, and hydration, which increases energy overall and detoxifies the body. This helps get inflammation back under control in older people and helps to maintain good hydration and detox for younger people. Very, very powerful product. Love for you guys to check that one out. So between the Spark, which is used for oxygen and water, and the MNS, which we use here for our micronutrients, these 2 supplements after a 10-day cleanse are part of that 24-day challenge. So I encourage you to get to the site and check these things out. You'll be absolutely floored with how good and how simple this system is to follow. Thank you for visiting tomorrowschampion.com. Hope this was helpful, and we'll see you again soon.